Hi, before we get started, I just wanted to promote a cause I'm really passionate about. This channel is getting more eyes on it, and I talk about a lot of stuff that really doesn't matter in the long run, so I wanted to bring attention to a nonprofit that is dear to my heart called FLOODLIT. FLOODLIT.org is a database consisting of reports of abuse within the LDS Church, and they just published their 1,000th report this week, which is incredible. You can report a case anonymously to them. They have a map, they have resources, stories, and I read a tweet the other day where they were again asking for donations. They use it to maintain the website, to request public documents. So go ahead and check them out, and if you can, make a small donation. I know they would really appreciate it. This is not sponsored. I would never accept a sponsorship from a nonprofit. That is crazy pants. I just have been thinking about them a lot, and I want to be able to help them as much as I possibly can. So head on over to floodlit.org. Thanks. Hi, my name is Mackenzie, and fun fact about me, I like to know things. I like facts and figures and proof, receipts, timeline, everything. And being spoon-fed misinformation my entire life has been a wild ride. So I learn something new every single day. What I have learned recently is that I am not always right. I know. I'm shocked too. And something I want to recant, if you will, is something I said in my previous Taylor Frankie Paul video. I still stand by like 95% of it, and I do encourage you to watch it if you don't know who I'm talking about. And it seems like she does like some things about the church, but doesn't like some other things. So what's the problem? The problem is she doesn't represent Mormonism at all. So when she puts Mormon mom in her bio, she's doing it for attention and clout.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Listen, there are a lot, and I mean a lot of reasons to criticize Taylor Paul, but saying she only claims to be Mormon for the clout is false. And I feel bad for giving into the narrative that there is only one way to be Mormon, because it's simply not true. I don't feel bad for anything else I said in that video, because she is still telling lies and is still a convicted felon. So, but she is Mormon, and a lot of members have been very upset about her claiming that, just like I was when I was young and naive 4 months ago. You know you got me up if you got me defending Taylor Frankie Paul, okay? Like, you need to do some serious introspection if that is what it has come to. Because I am not a fan. And my feelings on this subject began to change before the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives even began, because that's when a lot of members of the church started to get upset about the show's existence and just the trailer.
Just thought I'd give you guys a quick heads up that this show that Who is coming out with, called The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, is a total misrepresentation of our religion. And I feel it incredibly distasteful. I feel it's such a bummer. It could have been such good entertainment, but because of them bringing in the religion to use it as clickbait, I will not be watching.
Yikes, Aubrey Grosson. This is Aubrey Gross, and not very motherhood rooted in Christ of you. Tell me, how is it distasteful to use the name of a religion in a show where people are that religion? And we all know you want to call them sluts and whores, so just do it. That's what all the misogynistic men are doing on Twitter. Also, I noticed the reel right next to it said she was in an MLM, and yep, she is an olive tree people, so that checks out. Don't listen to these immoral heathens who are the breadwinners of their home, providing for their family through brand deals. But I, a good Mormon who scams people for a living, am a moral, upstanding member of the church. Like, how dare you use my religion for entertainment purposes to make a profit? That's only okay when my church does it, and a lot of other people we've never had a problem with. Like, the Mormon church consistently makes a profit off of poking fun at their own religion, and has historically been okay with members of the church doing the same thing. But because Hulu is producing this, it takes away all that gloss and polishing and bias, so they're mad they can't control the narrative anymore. Not that people are making money off of being Mormon. Where was all this outrage when The Oath came out and Darren made an entirely separate plotline based on the characters of the Book of Mormon? Is that not sacrilegious? Is that not actually totally misrepresenting Mormon beliefs? Is that not using a religion for profit? I just don't quite think that's what the issue is. This is what we call an emotional reaction, not a logical one. Like, I talk a lot of shit on my channel, but it's because I know my shit. I watch stuff I normally wouldn't all the time so that I can have an informed opinion on it. And so many members of the church formed strong opinions before it ever aired. Here are some more LDS women from a podcast I have mentioned before called Ward Radio reacting to the trailer.
Bye. Like,
Right?
Somebody just take the wheel for a second while I gather my thoughts, please.
Okay, well, it gets better. So then they all start swinging with each other, Megan.
You lie like a dog, Brittany.
No, they all get
I
drunk,
wish
party,
that
and
was
they
left.
swing.
Brittany is in fact, and I'll use Megan's word here, lying like a dog. Or should I say she's ignorant to the facts since, again, she hasn't watched the show yet. But none of the women, including Taylor, are swingers. Taylor was the only one who ever participated in swinging, and that was back in 2022, over 2 years ago. So I do blame the production team because bringing up the swinging scandal in the show at all is really obnoxious. But it seems, unfortunately, a lot of people fell for it because not everyone is as chronically online as I am. So I understand the need for the show to give a little backstory, but it's old news and the show completely fudges the timeline and make it seem like everything with Taylor just happened yesterday. So yes, the trailer is clickbaiting, just not the things you think it's clickbaiting about.
First of all, the title of the show. Friends and family, if you're new to our faith, welcome. We are no longer called Mormons. We are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So first and foremost, please know that this show has nothing to do with our faith.
Unfortunately for everyone mad about the show title calling them Mormon, stay mad. 7 out of the 8 cast members are Mormon. The only one who is ex-Mormon is Jesse, who grew up in the church. The rest identify as believing members. And 4 of them are active, faithful members of the church. They're going to church, praying, getting priesthood blessings, baby blessings, wearing garments, going to the temple, and abstaining from alcohol. But you would only know these things if you actually watched it. So, bummer. I definitely encourage each and every one of these ladies to actually watch the show, and I would be genuinely interested to hear if their opinions change, because we all know Aubrey Gross isn't watching it. So, this is my only hope that at least one person will before commenting on it. And let's quickly address the whole "we aren't Mormons anymore" talking point. Going back to Aubrey's video, my favorite comment under that was, if the church has nothing to hide, why does it matter? The church doesn't even use the term Mormon anymore, so the marketing also shouldn't offend anyone within the church, yet you all choose to be offended. Are we not following David Bednar's talk about choosing not to be offended? You're misrepresenting the church, and I find it distasteful. The funniest thing about this all is that the current church administration, more specifically Russell Nelson, denounced using the word Mormon in October of 2018. It's something he has been trying to do since he was an apostle in 1990, where he gave a talk about how he did not like the word Mormon.
Thus shall my church be called in the last days, even the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. We feel that some may be misled by the too frequent use of the term Mormon church.
And then Gordon B. Hinckley was like, no, I love being a Mormon.
While I am thankful for the privilege of being a follower of Jesus Christ and a member of the church which bears his name, I am not ashamed of the nickname Mormon. And so when someone asks me about it and what it means, I quietly say, Mormon means more good.
So when Russell Nelson got the keys to his new fancy corporation, he just drove it right off the cliff, marketing-wise, and just let everyone else pick up the pieces. They did a whole rebrand, and Russell called the word Mormon a, quote, victory for Satan.
When it comes to nicknames of the church, such as LDS Church, the Mormon Church, or the Church of the Latter-day Saints, the most glaring omission is the absence of the Savior's name. To remove the Lord's name from the Lord's church is a major victory for Satan.
But getting people to stop calling members of the church Mormon didn't really work. He tried it though. Unless he kicks the bucket, then they might just pretend all of this never happened, which they're really good at. Book of Victory for Satan. It makes no sense marketing-wise and even less sense morally. Mormon is not a derogatory word. It is an umbrella term for people of a certain faith that has over 70 sects since its inception in 1830. The most popular being the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Then there's the RLDS Church, Church, or the Community of Christ, which has the female prophet. There's the FLDS Church, which still practices polygamy in those compounds, but also has many different factions underneath it, including the AUB, or Apostolic United Brethren, which Cody Brown from Sister Wives is a part of. My point is, they embraced the nickname Mormon for almost 200 years, spent millions of dollars on a marketing campaign called I'm a Mormon. You could get a little card and pass it out to people, and now the church says they no longer answer to that name. But oh, would you look at that, a TV show uses it. They come running and say, don't believe it, it's all lies. I thought you guys weren't Mormon anymore. That's weird.
I had issue with this because the temple is sacred to me. And I felt like, they are using it in a way that is A, an advertisement to make money, and B, mocking the things that we hold sacred.
Christ flipped tables, Joy.
Yes, absolutely. I was gonna bring that up because, last time people were at the temple trying to do things to make money, Jesus Christ came in and flipped some tables. Like, you do not mess with sacred spots.
They're so close to getting it. I can feel it. Just kidding, they're not. A quick reminder that LDS temples do sell things inside of them for a profit. They rent out various temple clothing. They also have a cafeteria that is not free. And all of this is for members who already paid to get in, because you have to pay tithing, which is 10% of your income, in order to have a valid temple recommend. So I agree, Jesus should come down and start flipping tables and cafeteria trays. And as far as I can tell, all of these ladies have been through the temple at one point or another, whether it was just baptisms or getting married or getting sealed to their kids. To just assume that none of them have had a sacred experience in the temple is really messed up to me. Like, you don't own feeling a spiritual connection to the temple.
To me, this brings up the thought of excommunication, in that excommunication is a loving thing. It is a, hey, you're not living up to these promises that you made. Let's take away these promises, and then you won't be hurt more for not living up to what you've promised to do.
Girl, excommunicated for what? Twerking on TikTok? I may be wrong, but I don't think the word twerking has been added to the church handbook unless they've updated it recently. They don't even excommunicate people who abuse children. What makes you think what these women doing are on that level? For anyone who's not aware, being excommunicated from the Mormon church means that the leadership has made the decision that you are no longer a member, and you have to be rebaptized if you want to go back to church. Here are the rules that some, not all, of the women are breaking that do not result in excommunication. Dancing, having fun with your friends, swearing, drinking coffee, wearing immodest clothing, drinking alcohol, also not an excommunicatable offense. That's not a word, but whatever. Fighting with your friends. You know what is an offense worthy of excommunication? Speaking out against the church, criticizing its policies or leaders in any capacity. Like this little guy, Nemo the Mormon. Look at him. Look at his face. This man has never done anything wrong in his entire life. He just received a summons to a disciplinary council from his stake president after making YouTube content for years, where he will get to defend himself for 45 minutes. He's not allowed to bring legal counsel, he's not allowed to record the meeting, and the final decision is not up to him. He is on trial for, let's see, having an opinion, not assaulting anyone, not traumatizing little kids. Those guys are fine. They said they were sorry. Madness. Absolute madness. I am so happy that I can now judge people by their actual character and not how Mormon they are. It's just exhausting. You can have a person that's technically a bad Mormon still be a better human being than the best Mormon member of the church. Like, whether someone is an active Mormon or inactive Mormon, the keywords there are Mormon, doesn't really determine how good of a person you are. When you are publicly calling for the excommunication of certain people and not others who supposedly represent your faith, it really makes me want to throw up. I feel like the anger is misplaced. There are actual predators and dangerous people within the church, and people are like, oh, well, we believe in the atonement. We believe in repentance. But these women? Fuck that. You're drinking coffee and you're wearing a sleeveless dress. Not only can you not sit next to me at sacrament meeting, you are going to hell. Jesus is not for you. Sorry. It just feels like a whole "you can't sit next to us" deal. And I hate using the word mean girl. I think it is sexist and stupid. Just normalize calling women assholes. We don't call men mean boys, we just call them douchebags. And you're being a douchebag when you are telling these women that they are not welcome in your church. I thought the church was supposed to be for everyone. My bad. I forgot that it's about image and looking good and not actually being a good person. There is no such thing as a perfect person or a perfect member of the church. If you are, I have a stone for you with your name on it. Jesus said it, not me. Take it up with him. I also found this Instagram reel that says this show is actually proof of a Book of Mormon prophecy. I'm sure this won't be infuriating at all.
The Book of Mormon predicted this behavior in Helaman chapter 1. In verse 11, it talks about a group of Nephites that swore by their everlasting maker to tell no man, to keep secret the ungodly things that they were doing. What's interesting is they believe in God enough to swear by him. Meaning these aren't atheists. These are people that understand the gospel that are not living the gospel. And in verse 12, it tells us that these people are among us. It tells us that these people mingle themselves among the people in a manner by which they cannot be found. Meaning they blend in. But just because you're a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints does not mean that you are living the gospel of Jesus Christ. But I think the bigger lesson in this story is there a version of this that you have or I have in my life that needs to be reconciled with God today?
Bitch, it's a play on words. All of these women before this show aired were successful influencers who were not shy or quiet about their lifestyle. They did not keep anything a secret. Sorry, my fucking camera died. What was I yelling about? Oh yeah, people next to you in church are secretly not living the gospel. Are you telling me you could be sitting in the pews next to someone who swears? Our church is just about loving everyone and Jesus. Just kidding, it's about judgment and paranoia and gatekeeping. And again, before the show aired, the Mormon church felt the need to also call these women sluts and whores, but in a very nice way. The church's statement is titled, "When Entertainment Media Distorts Faith," and says, "Some portrayals are fair and accurate, but others resort to stereotypes or gross misrepresentations that are in poor taste and have real-life consequences for people of faith." People of faith, like the ones on the show? Those people? Oh, you didn't watch it? Yeah, of course you didn't. Why would you? Well, this is not new. A number of recent productions depict lifestyles and practices blatantly inconsistent with the teachings of the church. To which lifestyles and practices are inconsistent? You're not gonna say? You're just gonna make generalizations and assumptions, which is what you accuse other people of doing all the time? Got it. Others irresponsibly mischaracterize the safety and conduct of our volunteer missionaries. They're talking about that new movie called The Heretic, which again, hasn't come out yet. So how do you know? It's supposed to be a horror movie starring two sister missionaries and they get kidnapped by Hugh Grant that again, the church nor myself has seen. I think anyone with a working brainstem is aware that this is not happening on a regular basis, but they do be going around and knocking on strangers' doors. So, what about that isn't accurate? It's two Mormons portrayed as the victims. I thought y'all loved that shit. I should do a video on that movie when it comes out. How fun would that be for like Halloween season? Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. We understand the fascination some in the media have with the church, but regret the portrayals often rely on sensationalism and inaccuracies that do not fairly and fully reflect the lives of our church members or the sacred beliefs they hold dear. You mean the lives of the church members that hold sacred beliefs on the show? What are you talking about? The amount of times anyone on this show misrepresented the teachings of the church is zero. They made it very clear if they were making a choice that the church doesn't agree with. For example, some of them said they drink occasionally, but that it's against church teachings. Or that they drink coffee, but they're not supposed to. They aren't saying, yeah, Mormons can drink now. Every single Mormon does this. It's like a new thing. The only one who has mischaracterized anything is the church and the holier-than-thou uppity members who have only watched the trailer. The best people misrepresenting Mormonism has and will always be the church. But media literacy is a scarcity nowadays, and you can call me a hero if you want, a saint even, but I'm only human, just like you, and I watched every single episode. I almost stopped watching after the first one because it was a whole lot of nothing and they talked about stuff I already knew about, but I pulled the courage from deep within myself to rival that of only our bravest Marines, and I have notes on the entire 7 hours of the season. So in part 2 of my little mini-series on this mini-series, we're going to talk about what it portrays and what it doesn't portray. There were surprisingly so many moments that were extremely relatable from anyone who has grown up Mormon, and they get into some heavy topics, but yeah, it's also a lot of dumb stuff, a lot of petty drama, and if you don't like reality shows, yeah, you're not gonna like this one. I'm a bit of a reality show connoisseur because I don't leave my house, and I give it like a solid 8 out of 10. But Taylor's still the worst. Don't forget it. Make sure you're subscribed, turn on those notifications so that you do not miss part 2. You're not gonna wanna miss it. Rexy and Trixie do not want you to miss part 2. It would make them extremely upset. Say goodbye to Trixie and Rexy. Say goodbye to me. Bye.